Retirement is Murder is both funny and mysterious. This is the 13th episode of the second season of Frasier. This is directed by Alan Myerson, and this focuses on the Weeping Lotus murder case that Martin had never been able to solve. And every now and then he turns his attention back to it, and this is one of those occasions. And I have to say, it's so delightful the way the episode plays out. It's really, really mysterious, and I was really hoping that we'd get an answer for the case. And I will, of course, discuss whether that is what happens. So there will be spoilers from now as I go through the narrative and talk about some personal highlights. So most of the episode does focus on the case, but we have a scene where Niles and Frasier take Martin to a basketball game. The point is to distract him from the case because they don't think he should be thinking about it so much, stressing about it, and it's a really sweet thing for them to do. One of my favourite moments in the whole episode is when the vendor is throwing peanuts because Frasier asks for peanuts, and Niles keeps throwing the peanuts back and just keeps yelling, "Stop it!" And it's just absolutely fantastic. And Niles was the star of that scene. I don't care for basketball, but the fact that they made it thoroughly entertaining is something that really makes me happy. Aside from a few moments down at KCL, the rest of the episode focuses on this murder case. And when Daphne is poring over these photographs, trying to work, trying to work anything out, trying to solve it, I guess, Frasier and Niles together come up with a theory. And this theory is that the monkey did it. Now, actually, their logic makes sense. I can understand how they came to that conclusion. They basically thought that the animal trainer was jealous, and because these monkeys were really well trained, the trainer could train the monkey to shoot Helen, the woman who was murdered. And I mean, it makes sense. And I kind of thought, yeah, all right, fair enough. I can see how you came to that conclusion. I would believe it if you told me that was true. The fact that they didn't want to just tell Martin that they thought they'd cracked the case was so sweet. The fact that they wanted Martin to feel like, after all of these years, he'd finally solved it. That's so thoughtful and so considerate. And then we learn that a moment later, Martin looks at the photographs and he's cracked it. But he doesn't say what he thinks. And of course, he goes off and we think he's come to the same conclusion as Frasier and that he's gone down to the station to say the monkey did it, which, when I say it like that, yeah, it sounds a bit ridiculous. And of course, when his colleagues come back to Frasier's apartment and everybody's really happy, they've got the person who did it, Frasier and Daphne are still convinced that it was the monkey. We, the viewer, know that it wasn't. And I have to say, the person who it was, I guess I said spoilers, so I can reveal who it was. It was, we learn, Detective Shelby. I didn't see that coming, but when they explained, or Martin explained, that it's because the word help in the dirt was actually Shelby, well, it attempted to be Shelby, I thought, that's clever. I got it. So I have to say, it's also a very well written narrative, and well, the embarrassment Frasier felt when he explained his monkey theory was really good fun, and I rather enjoyed it. Also, the ending was fantastic. Every Frasier episode ends with something that's maybe not completely separate from the narrative, but it's just a little bit of silly fun. And in this one, Daphne is lying on the sofa with tomato ketchup on her face and on her body, and Eddie is standing over her with a teeny tiny gun in his mouth, and Frasier comes in and sees it. And honestly, I don't usually find the closing scenes to be that funny. They're fine, I don't mind them, but rarely do I find them to be laugh out loud funny. But actually, I got a tickle out of that one, so I rather enjoyed it. Definitely a really brilliant episode, very well written narrative. I loved the mystery element. I thought the pacing was great, and obviously there's a decent amount of comedy in here too. Retirement is Murder is definitely a really great episode.